Picture this, it's late May 1976, and across Britain, spring has quietly slipped into something warmer than anyone expects, with blue skies settling in day after day, temperatures creeping higher, and the usual grey breaks simply failing to return, while weather reports sound calm, almost casual, because no one yet realizes that the country is about to enter one of the most extreme and disruptive summers in its history. At first, it feels pleasant. Early June brings sunshine that lasts longer than normal. A few warm days turn into a full week, then another. Lawns begin to dry out, people sit outside more, windows stay open at night. By mid-June, something feels different. Not alarming, just unusual. The heat isn't breaking. There's no rain coming in from the Atlantic to reset things. High pressure has parked itself over Britain and refuses to move. By June 23rd, temperatures push past 30 degrees Celsius in parts of southern England, a level that was rare at the time and almost unheard of for such an early point in the summer. Records begin to fall quietly. Newspapers note it in small print. Most people welcome it. After all, Britain doesn't get summers like this, or at least it didn't used to. But as June turns into July, the heat becomes relentless. Day after day of clear skies, night after night where temperatures refuse to drop enough to cool houses down. In homes without air conditioning, which is almost all of them, heat builds up steadily. Bedrooms become stifling, sleep becomes difficult, fans are rare. You open windows and hope for a breeze that never really comes. Rainfall drops to almost nothing. In some parts of England and Wales, weeks pass without a single measurable drop. Rivers begin shrinking, reservoir levels fall visibly, fields dry out and harden. The grass turns from green to yellow, then to dust. Cracks appear in the ground wide enough to catch your foot. By early July, it's clear this isn't just a warm summer, it's a developing crisis. Water companies begin issuing warnings. Hosepipe use is discouraged, then restricted. Car washing is banned in some areas. People are told to conserve water, to think before using it, to prepare for further restrictions. It feels strange. Britain worrying about running out of water feels almost unthinkable. Temperatures continue climbing. On July 3rd, Cheltenham records 35.9 degrees Celsius, setting a new UK temperature record. For many people, it's the hottest day they've ever experienced. Roads soften under the heat. Tarmac begins to melt and stick to tires. Rail lines expand and buckle, forcing trains to slow down or stop entirely. Transport systems designed for cool, damp conditions begin to fail under sustained heat. Hospitals start feeling the pressure. Heat exhaustion cases rise, particularly among the elderly and those with existing health conditions. Wards become uncomfortably warm. Staff struggle through long shifts in heavy uniforms. Windows are opened where possible. Curtains are drawn to keep sunlight out. Improvised solutions replace planning because Britain simply isn't built for this kind of heat. Across the country, fires begin breaking out. Dry grass ignites easily. Heathland and moorland burn. Smoke hangs over rural areas. Fire brigades are stretched thin, responding to blazes that spread rapidly in tinder-dry conditions. In some areas, flames move faster than crews can contain them. Agriculture suffers badly. Crops fail. Yields drop sharply. Farmers watch fields dry out completely, knowing there's little they can do. Livestock struggle in the heat. Water troughs run low. Shade becomes essential. Losses mount quietly, without spectacle, but with lasting impact. By mid-July, the heatwave has become national news. Newspapers carry daily temperature charts. Photos show dried up reservoirs and cracked riverbeds. The novelty has gone. The question is no longer how nice the weather is, but how long it will last. And still, the high-pressure system holds. Urban areas suffer in different ways. Cities trap heat. Concrete and brick store warmth during the day and release it slowly at night. Flats become ovens. People sleep on floors, with windows open, hoping for cooler air that never arrives. Offices are stifling, productivity drops, tempers shorten, public health warnings are issued. People are told to avoid the midday sun, to drink water regularly, to check on elderly neighbors. It feels unfamiliar, almost foreign. Britain issuing heat warnings like a Mediterranean country. By late July, water shortages worsen. Standpipes begin appearing in some communities. Long queues form as people fill buckets and containers. Water pressure drops. In some places, supply is shut off entirely for hours at a time. Washing becomes limited. Baths are rationed. Daily routines are reshaped by the simple need for water. The countryside looks scorched. Rivers such as the Thames shrink dramatically, revealing mud banks and debris not seen in living memory. Fish die in warming, stagnant water. wildlife struggles, the landscape takes on a color more familiar to drought-stricken regions than to Britain. Through it all, the heat continues, day after day above 30 degrees Celsius in parts of the country. Nighttime temperatures stay high, there is no real relief. People begin to realize this summer is no longer just uncomfortable, it's dangerous, and still, there is no rain. By the end of July 1976, Britain is exhausted, dehydrated, and bracing for what comes next because the forecasts offer no comfort, the ground is bone dry, and the systems that keep daily life running are under strain. The heat wave has not peaked yet. By early August 1976, the situation has moved beyond inconvenience and into emergency. Britain has gone weeks without meaningful rainfall. Reservoirs are critically low, rivers are shrinking into slow-moving channels, and the systems that quietly support everyday life are starting to fail. What began as an unusually pleasant summer has turned into a national crisis. On August 6th, the government takes a step it has never taken before. A minister for drought is appointed. Dennis Howell is given the role, a sign that the situation is now serious enough to require direct political intervention. It is an extraordinary moment. Britain is not at war, there is no strike, no fuel shortage, and yet daily life is being reshaped by something as basic as the absence of rain. Water restrictions tighten rapidly. Hosepipe bans are extended and enforced. Car washing disappears overnight. Gardens are left to die. People are told to save water wherever possible. Baths are discouraged. Showers are shortened. Washing machines are used sparingly. In some areas, water pressure drops so low that taps barely function during peak hours. Then, the standpipes appear. In towns and cities across England and Wales, temporary water points are installed in streets. Long queues form as people arrive with buckets, bottles, and containers, filling them carefully because nobody knows when the next supply will come. For many, it is the first time they have ever experienced something like this outside of wartime stories told by parents and grandparents. The heat does not relent. Daytime temperatures remain high. Nights offer little relief. Houses trap warmth, especially in built-up areas, turning bedrooms into ovens. Sleep becomes fragmented. People lie awake listening to radios, hoping for news of rain that never arrives. Public health becomes a growing concern. Hospitals report rising cases of heat exhaustion and dehydration. The elderly are particularly vulnerable. Community groups and councils urge people to check on neighbors living alone. Advice is broadcast repeatedly. Drink water, avoid midday sun, rest where possible. Wildlife disappears from dried out streams and ponds. Transport systems continue to struggle. Rail lines expand in the heat, forcing speed restrictions that ripple across the network. Services are delayed or cancelled. Roads soften under prolonged high temperatures, leaving ruts and sticky surfaces that slow traffic and increase accidents. Infrastructure built for cool, damp conditions is pushed well beyond its limits. Fire becomes an ever-present threat. Heathland, moorland, and grassland ignite easily. Fire brigades respond to blaze after blaze, often in difficult conditions with limited water supplies. Smoke hangs over rural areas. In some cases, fires threaten homes and farmland before being brought under control. By mid-August, the heat wave is dominating national life. Newspapers carry daily drought updates. Reservoir levels are printed alongside weather forecasts. The novelty has long since vanished. The question is no longer when summer will end, but how much damage will be left behind when it does. And then finally, the atmosphere begins to change. Toward the end of August, pressure patterns shift. Cloud begins to build, the air feels heavier, people talk about it constantly. Feels like rain, they say, without quite believing it. When the first drops finally fall in some areas, they barely register. The ground is so dry that water runs straight off, disappearing into drains and gutters without soaking in. But the rain continues. By early September, sustained rainfall returns across much of the country. Rivers begin to recover slowly. Reservoir levels stabilize, then start rising. Restrictions are eased cautiously. Standpipes are removed. The emergency phase of the drought ends, not with celebration, but with relief. The aftermath reveals the scale of what Britain has just endured. Agriculture records one of its worst years in decades. Sleepless nights with windows wide open and no breeze at all. Radios announcing water restrictions as part of everyday life. Whenever Britain experiences a warm summer afterward, comparisons are inevitable. It's hot, people say, but it's not like 76. And they are right, because the summer of 1976 was not just hot, it was relentless. It reshaped routines, tested resources, and reminded an entire country that even in a place known for rain and mild weather, nature can still take control. It remains the benchmark. The summer Britain ran out of water.